This you sign up and you choose how you want to be contacted.
This week on Inside Boulder News, canvassers go door to door to help residents prepare for flood season. City Council considers creating a local electric utility sooner rather than later to position the city for possible financing, and crews are hard at work repairing spring road damage. Welcome to Inside Boulder News. I'm Ashley Prill. Alex Turnacliffe has visited an average of 125 Boulder homes a day for the past 2 weeks. He isn't selling anything. He's going door to door to help make sure residents are as prepared as possible for flood season.
This is a community guide to flood safety that the city put together. Has some information and tips on preparedness, as well as what to do in a flood, and looking into recovery efforts as well if we happen to have something like that happen again.
Each day Alex targets neighborhoods that may be vulnerable to flood damage, and he's armed with several resources, including an iPad to get people signed up for emergency alerts.
So what you would do is you'd have to fill out everything with the red star that's mandatory.
The community guide to flood safety, and door hangers for people who aren't home when he visits. Alex was hired by the Center for Resource Conservation, a nonprofit organization known for their water expertise and for helping people put conservation into action.
It seemed like a strong fit when the city came to us to ask to help with the flood outreach program, making sure that people had the right information that they needed to make sure that they weren't caught short again with spring runoff.
There is a thing called Inside Boulder. Have you heard about that?
And Alex has been doing a fantastic job of letting folks know what all the city's been doing in all its extensive educational outreach pieces to make sure that people have all the tools they need to take care of their properties in the spring.
To download the community guide to flood safety that Alex has been handing out, log on to boulderfloodinfo.net. You can get additional up-to-date flood information by logging on to the city's virtual information desk at inquireboulder.com. You can email questions to boulderfloodinfo at bouldercolorado.gov, and now there's even a dedicated Boulder Flood Info phone line at 303-441-1856. This week at first reading, City Council unanimously approved an ordinance that allows the process of creating an electric utility to move forward. There's still a long way to go before the city will make a decision about whether to issue bonds to take over ownership of equipment currently owned by Xcel Energy in order to provide electric service, but city advisors say the creation of the utility now will assist with potential financing in the future. Inside Boulder News spoke with David Geer, Deputy City Attorney, about why this ordinance is necessary.
So back in 2011, the City Council placed before the voters a charter amendment that gave the City Council the authority at some point in the future to create a municipal utility. In that ordinance, it sets up the governance structure and the basic parameters of an electric utility. To actually form the utility, the City Council needed to take a subsequent legislative action. That subsequent legislative action is the ordinance that's before the Council right now.
If you'd like to be involved in the conversation about creating a local electric utility, Council will be holding a public hearing and second reading of the ordinance on May 6th. If the ordinance passes at that time, it will be effective after 30 days. Springtime conditions are keeping city crews extremely busy repairing potholes and damage to alleys across Boulder. The wet weather wreaks havoc on roadways, and problems emerge quickly as the spring thaw begins.
Well, today we're repairing an alleyway that subgrade has failed on us, so we're getting that back in good condition so our residents and trash trucks get through here safely. Today we're excavating. Tomorrow we'll place in some 3/4 asphalt and we'll be done with it. This is very typical for spring, and it's a typical application for any patching. Is you dig out the bad spot, prepare the subgrade, and put back in asphalt to the correct depth. Try to repair these areas as quick as possible, depending on the severity of the damage and what it could do to vehicles or pedestrians, bicyclists, things of that nature. So we're out here to take care of those problems, and our residents are traveling safely in their everyday lives.
The best way to report potholes or grading concerns in your neighborhood is by logging on to inquireboulder.com. To find out about any construction projects that may impact travel on local roadways, log on to boulderconezones.net. According to data released in 2012, most collisions in Boulder involving motor vehicles and cyclists or pedestrians occur in crosswalks. Summit Middle School students and their teachers were reminded about crosswalk safety in a unique way this week.
Whoa! It's always the moment that somebody doesn't notice or isn't paying attention that something tragic can happen. So we're trying to keep that in front of middle schoolers as they're getting old enough to not pay attention to those things, think they got it, and potentially driving. So it's in two parts, and the first part of the show is a recreation of something that actually happened. It's a dramatic recreation of an accident that actually occurred at 11th and Canyon. The subject of our story, a guy named Corbin Stafford, was 15 years old, crossing the street on a bike and got struck by a car.
I wasn't expecting to be covered in blood. I wasn't expecting to wind up with a concussion, scars on my head, 16 stitches in my skull.
And he was actually in the wrong, Corbin was. He was riding too fast, and when he woke up in the hospital sometime later, he actually had to pay a fine. This is a lot of things that people don't understand. So that cements the idea, I think, emotionally to the students. And then the second half is like a really lighthearted quiz show where we have one of the students go head-to-head with one of their teachers to see who possesses more knowledge of crosswalk safety.
To brush up on your crosswalk safety knowledge, log on to bouldercolorado.gov/transportation and click on the Safe Streets Boulder tab. Community Cleanup Day registration is now available online. Community Cleanup Day is a volunteer opportunity for individuals and groups to help clean up 11 different locations around Boulder. You could be working on parks, greenways, creeks, or paths throughout the city. Volunteers are rewarded for their hard work with a free ice cream social, entry into a prize drawing, and a free one-day pass to the Boulder Reservoir. The 12th Annual Community Cleanup Day will take place from 8:30 a.m. until noon on Saturday, May 17th. Online registration will be available until Wednesday, May 14th, or you can register the morning of the event at Scott Carpenter Park. Thank you for watching Inside Boulder News. Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter by submitting news tips and questions. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe.